My question is, why do jobs be having you work 12-hour shifts, knowing it's only 24 hours in a day, knowing that you're not going to go to sleep as soon as you get home, knowing that you got to get up early in the morning to come back and do the 12-hour shift again? Like, why is the world like that? Why is the United States of America like that? Why do jobs, like, why can't we just work 4 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 100 hours an hour? Like, why can't it just be like that? Bro, it's like a revolving cycle. It's like we all go to sleep at 12. I'll be up all night scrolling through TikTok. And then I got to wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock because I got to be to work by 7. Bro, don't y'all see what the world is doing to us, big bro? Man, I'm woke, bro. I'm on to y'all, bro. No cap. Like, I'm on to this, bro. I'm on to y'all because there's no reason why we should be working 12 hours and it's 24 hours in a day. So you have half your day of work and half the day to be with your family. Like, bro, come on. Like, nah, B. Nah.
So, just relax.
That is incredible. Now I know.
Street artist from Brazil has captured the hearts of fans worldwide with his murals that celebrate the Afro hairstyles of women and girls. In his works, Fabio seamlessly integrates paintings with deciduous trees, where leaves and flowers transform into diverse and voluminous strands of hair. He utilizes fences as canvases, weaving graffiti with human faces and expressive hairstyles into them. Such creations craft voluminous illusions, imparting a unique and picturesque character to ordinary places.
Videos that can never be explained.
Go. Holy fucking shit, guys.
I like it.
Look up.
The show.
Look.
The water show.
Up.
Oh, no way. What is that? That is so scary. No, what is that? Oh, hell no. Oh, no. No, 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 no. What the fuck? That's bizarre. What the fuck? Whoa. I don't know. What the fuck?
A daily reminder that these are the people that actually decide basically everything on behalf of the entire country, where our money gets spent, how much we pay in taxes, whether or not TikTok gets banned, what's considered freedom, what's not. These people probably don't even know how to attach a PDF file to an email. These people probably don't even know how to connect their phone to the Wi-Fi. These people haven't worked a real fucking job in probably 30 years. And also keep in mind that once you get voted into one of these political positions, you get paid at minimum like $200,000 for the rest of your life. So they can just sit in Congress, do absolutely nothing, and just age gracefully, in quotation marks. The worst part about elderly people being in political power is that they're not even going to have to live through the decisions that they are making on behalf of everyone else. They'll be gone by the time the actual real consequences come from their actions that they're deciding on right now. It just makes me sick. And if you look look down there, I don't see a single person that looks like they are even at the age of 40. Every single one of these people is 60 plus, and there's a reason for that.
But they brought with them a lot of the technology, the science, the astronomy, irrigation for being able to develop these lands. The Africans in Europe originally came out of the Moors, came out of North Africa, out of the area that's known as Morocco, ruled that area called the Iberian Peninsula for centuries. And it's interesting because what most people don't realize is that the Moors had brought to Western Europe, before Europe even had developed the technologies to do a lot of the things that they had done. And when the Moors had been defeated in 1492, that expulsion of the Moors, they had moved into areas that were now considered Western Europe.
But I don't think that the black people in America came from Africa on slave ships. I believe the people that were here were slowly conquered. First they got the East Coast, and then they started spreading out west little by little, conquering. And when you conquer a tribe, what do? You enslave them. They're POWs. If you take black people here in America, and you do their DNA sample and it point back to Africa, what does that say? It says black people in America are Africans. Now, the argument is, were we brought here or were we already here? Did we bring ourselves here or did the white man bring us here? You see, when you say the white man brought us here, what you're doing is you're removing our ability to transport ourselves. You're saying, oh, we didn't know anything about boats. Only the holy white man knew.
Oh, hi there. I would like to apply for the job that you've had listed for several months now. Yeah, no problem. Have you applied online? Yeah, I just thought I'd show an extra initiative and apply in person as well. Oh, well, that's great. Do you have your resume? Yes, I do. Here it is. Wow, I see very clearly that you fit every description we've asked for in this job role. Yeah, and I live within like 20 minutes. Even better. The thing is, though, no. What? Yeah, no. Nope. But you're hiring for the role, right? Oh, definitely. Yeah, I complain daily about how understaffed we are. Right, and I fit every qualification? You had just said that. Oh, 100%, yeah, yep. But still the answer is no? Unfortunately, you're just not who we're looking for. Sorry. I wish you good luck, though.
I'ma say it. I'm too old for this new music. It's getting too ratchet for me. The lyrics is too much. I can't deal with it. Somebody literally just came on and said, I named the baby Heaven because that's where it's going. I say, cut it off. Cut it off right now because I can't do it. I can't do it. We've been eating booty on the radio. They busting it open on the radio. Letting the coochie breathe on the radio. It's too much. The ratcheticity of the music right now is a little bit too much for me. All right, I can't deal with it no more. Right? I'm a little too grown. I'm gonna need y'all to throw the gospel on. What happened to gospel music on Sundays? What happened to gospel music on Sundays? All I hear now is Top Dog Law on the damn radio. That's all I hear, and a whole lot of ratchetness. So can we...
According to an online conspiracy, American cheese slices won't burn and will turn black if held over a flame. I decided to test it out, and the results were unexpected. Will you eat this again?
When you touch this water, you don't get wet.
Wait, hold up. What do you mean, don't get wet? It's not water if it's not wet.
Not necessarily. Water isn't wet.
Fuck you mean water isn't wet? It's water.
Yeah, but water isn't wet.
How you gonna stand there and actually say some nonsense like water ain't wet?
Water is the thing that makes other things wet. The property itself can't give itself its own property.
He's right, Naruto.
Bitch, you gonna side with him?
Yeah, I'm gonna side with logic.
Fuck you mean logic? You're the dumb motherfuckers that sit there and say some ignorant ass shit like water isn't wet.
It's not wet.
You fucking heathen.
Listen to her, man.
Water is touching itself all the damn time. Therefore, water is wet.
Water is not wet. It makes other things wet.
That's like saying soap doesn't make itself clean.
It doesn't.
It makes other things clean. Jesus Christ, I can't talk to him, Shika.
Your logic is predicated on the fact that this physical object isn't a physical object that touches other objects. Therefore, you're stupid.
You're basically saying dirt is dirty because when you put it on something other than dirt, it makes it dirty. The dirt itself isn't dirty and water isn't wet.
You're not wet.
Fucking right about that.
If the thing itself is touching itself, it has that property. Am I fucking speaking Chinese?
It has to be something else.
Why?
Because it can't make itself itself.
Lord help us.
Y'all are all really saying water's not wet.
Yes!
Y'all can miss me with that shit. Out of your damn mind.
Alexa, how much money was put into a trust fund for the birth certificate when I was born?
How much?
The value of a birth certificate bond is usually at least $100 million. Alexa, what happens with a birth certificate bond over time? The birth certificate bond is a financial instrument that can be used to enslave a person's body, mind, and soul, turning them into collateral for government debt.
Yeah. Makes sense, don't it? That's what I've been telling y'all, ain't it?
Alexa, if I have a birth certificate, do I have a straw man? A straw man is created when a birth certificate is issued, according to a theory, and the straw man is then subject to statutory law.
Statutory law. Statutory law. Statutory
Alexa,
law.
what is statutory law? Statutory law is a written law enacted by a legislative body. It is the primary form of law in common law systems, distinguishing laws created by a governing body from case law.
Did you know that our enslaved African ancestors used watermelon seeds to help expel worms and parasites during slavery? They would mash up the seeds and take it for any parasite issue, and they will also take watermelon seeds for kidney issues. The more you know. Happy Black History Month. Did you know that our indigenous ancestors made medicinal tea out of pine trees? Indigenous Americans and enslaved Africans would take pine cones and pine needles to treat colds, flus, coughs, and congestion. They would steep it in water or whiskey to extract the medicinal value out of it, and they even combined it with other herbs to make it more potent, like mullein. The more you know. Make sure to check my bio if you want to learn more about indigenous herbalism facts and history.
You want to get to this mythical, magical place called heaven based off of one book. And in your brain, that one book has everything in it you need. And it's all accurate. Don't even question it. If you question it, you're going to go to hell. That's what they tell you. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not accurate. Take the fear. False evidence appearing real. That's what fear is. False evidence appearing real. Take that fear and kick it to the side and start doing some digging and start asking some serious questions. Because anytime I can sit down with a religious person, including pastors, and ask them questions that they can't answer, what they start saying is, don't question God, because they don't have the answer. You can't question the scripture. They don't have the, that means I don't have the answer. And yet and still you want to get to this paradise for all eternity and you don't know anything. I remember this one Christian guy I met one day. He was talking to me. I said, well, what's Jesus' brother's name? You know, you told me you love Jesus. I started off like this. I said, you told me you love Jesus. I love Jesus with all my heart. That's all I focus on. I said, really? I said, how many years? The guy says over 20 years he's been a Christian. I said, well, what's Jesus' brother's name? He didn't know the answer. I love my fiance. If you ask me what her brother's name is, I'm gonna tell you his name. I know his name. How are you gonna love somebody so much that you're relying on this entity for eternity and you don't know the name of this guy's brother?
Touching me. Don't worry about it. These my mama hands, they cold. They cold. Mom, stop. Mom.
What?
Oh. Somebody hands cold, nobody hands. Don't worry about it. That's what it got. Coming home.
Surprise! Surprise, baby! 22 years! Just don't let her.
Mix honey with onion to clean your lungs and stop coughing in less than 3 days. Pharmacists don't want me to tell you the recipe, so remember to save it so it doesn't disappear. To begin, cut a half white onion into small pieces and put it into a small airtight container. Onions are surprisingly effective for chest congestion. It is a great remedy that will improve circulation to the lungs and reduce congestion. Now add honey. Honey reduces inflammation in the bronchial tubes and helps break up mucus that is making it hard for you to breathe. It also triggers your salivary glands to produce more saliva. This may lubricate your airways, easing your cough. Take 1 tablespoon every night before bed, and you'll be cough-free in less than 3 days. Check my profile to learn more about the best natural remedy for weight loss.
White colonizers didn't like sharing things, and they knew the quickest route to gentrification was to completely submerge cities underwater. So we're going to discuss the 6 black towns that have been buried because Black History Month is important. And I am late because my children keep bringing home the plagues, and no one is more sorry about that than I am. So by the late 1800s, there were many black towns that were thriving. It was still tough post-emancipation, but they were coming together, they were bonding and creating these flourishing communities. Amber Ruffin covers this phenomenon of the disappearing black towns. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most well-known spots, but probably not the well-known history of Oscarville, which was built in Forsyth County, Georgia, under what is now known as Lake Lanier. Oscarville was born out of the post-Reconstruction era. Not all of the residents were black, but most of them were. And by 1910, there were 1,100 black residents living there. 58 of them were landowners. Over 100 were renting farms to grow crops on. It was a mostly agricultural community. They were well known for the production of their poultry, and the area was also a recreational area for boating. As was the case back then, all it took was for a group of white people to accuse a group of black people, and an angry mob ensued, and the town was burned down. Thousands of people fled in fear for their lives because their entire livelihood had just been burned down to the ground. In the 1950s, roughly 40-ish years after the white people pushed the black residents out of Forsyth County, out of their small community of Oscarville, the Army Corps of Engineers built Lake Lanier, which resulted after a dam was built, and it's like a whole process involving hydroelectricity that I'm not going to get into today. Whatever wasn't burned in 1912 in Oscarville was eventually flooded over, so remnants of the town still exist today under Lake Lanier, and that is why I would never willingly go swimming in Lake Lanier.
I got a story for y'all. So tell me why I'm just finding out, right? That doctors could use ultrasound to regrow a missing tooth. So what's the point of veneers or, pearly whites fake pearly whites when you could literally have your own pearly whites? So if everything is not frequency and vibration, how is it possible, right, for someone to be able to use a ultrasound device to help your teeth to regrow? That's amazing to me. And for some of y'all who don't be believing in some of my facts, not all the time I'm on the internet talking about facts, because sometimes I'll just be talking about mythology and shit like that. I don't really be trying to talk about just pure facts. I like to enjoy life. But for the ones that like to hear pure facts, I'm going to leave like 2 articles for y'all to go check out so you can see that I'm actually telling the truth about this ultrasound, and that ultrasound could help to regrow your tooth, to induce it to grow, pretty much.
Wasn't we all taught in school, y'all, that the sky is blue because of the ocean and shit, right? So I'm really sitting here thinking about this shit, like, let me do some research, right? I asked Google, I said, why is the sky blue? And they came up with this shit and this. But it have nothing to do with the ocean though, bro. Now let's keep it a bean, y'all. Why did they say that if that's not what the real reason is? I ain't gonna lie, I feel like they was talking about the firmament, bro. Now let's keep it a bean. The water's above, right? Think about it like this. How could the water like turn the sky blue and shit in places where it's all desert and shit? There's no water around for miles and miles and miles. Now what I'm thinking is either a big ass reflection, bro, or they're talking about the waters above the firmament, bro. Let's think about it this way too. The planet flooded. You feel me? How could you flood something that's round like this versus an enclosed area that you can fill all the way up to the top, bro? Another thing that I wanted to question too is our continents, bro. Like, what if these joints don't even look like what they say it look like. Like, what if this whole thing is completely different? But they mapped it out to how they wanted to format it in this own type of way to make it make sense. I'm just asking questions, bro. What you got?
Because we have a right brain and we have a left brain. So our left brain is the rational seat of thought. So if I look at my left temporal lobe, that's where my brain processes numbers and mathematics, number theory, etc. I look at the right temporal lobe. So it's just the exact same anatomy of the brain, but on the opposite side, that's where my brain processes music. So you got math and music. Now language is at the center of the brain, right? It's slightly more to the left side. And then you got geometry right around the center as well. That's why geometry is so powerful, like a QR code for the subconscious mind, to awaken this electrical canopy around your pituitary gland and your pineal gland. Geometry is the doorway to being able to do that. Now, it's interesting because our right eye connects to the left hemisphere of the brain. The left eye connects to the right hemisphere of the brain. It creates an X. Those optic nerves create an X right at the pituitary gland called the optic chiasm.
Yeah, the suprachiasmatic nucleus.
That's right.
I'm 19 Keys, and this is high-level conversation.
Cushite people were said to have been founded by a man named Cush. What a bizarre thing. The grandson of Noah was Cush, and he had a son whose name was Nimrod, also known for being the Orion constellation. He was a great hunter. Now, some people thought he was a bad guy. Other people thought he was a great guy. What he was doing is he wanted to become godlike. He built these 2 pyramids, or maybe more pyramids that we don't know. Also, he's associated with Enoch, the concept of Enoch. So you have this man who built on a hill a pyramid that looked like it was reaching to the sky. The height of this pyramid, the Djed pyramid, was 300 feet high on top of the 300 feet that was already higher than the Great Pyramid's elevation level. So the Great Pyramid's height is 481 feet. It was the tallest building in the world for thousands of years. We could debate how many thousands of years, but no question about it, at least for the last 4,500, even mainstream people would say it was the tallest building in the world. Now you've got a pyramid that was 600 feet high. So if you're standing on the Giza Plateau, you would look up at a 60-degree angle of ascent. This thing would look like it was reaching into heaven. And it's made of granite.
I'm 19 Keys, and this is high-level conversation.
What's going on right now in Gaza? When you really look at it, are you telling me why have the adjacent neighboring countries not said anything about it? Beyond the Yemenis. What about the Saudis? Where was Benjamin Netanyahu the day that it happened? And oh, by the way, let's not forget, Benjamin was actually warned by the country of Egypt, by their intelligence, that this was going to go down days before it went down. And in fact, what'd they do? And I can tell you that the troops were moved from the border and away. So the response time took 7 hours. Benjamin Netanyahu knew exactly what was going on. He was in Saudi Arabia when it happened. What was he doing in Saudi Arabia? Oh, he was negotiating and working on this deal called the David Ben-Gurion Project, to have this new Suez Canal that's going to compete with the Suez Canal of Egypt, because they make, billions of dollars a year on this thing. And they're going to build it with Saudi Arabia, and it cuts right through Israel, and it comes out exactly adjacent to Gaza.
I'm 19 Keys, and this is high-level conversation.
I was asked by one of the parties to run for U.S. Senate. And I said, okay, let me see what it's like to be on a campaign team. I did 3 major campaign teams, and I said, I want nothing to do with this because it was entirely corrupt.
You should have known that already.
I knew it already, but what I saw was each of these candidates were already quite wealthy. They had the wherewithal to say no to the party and tell them where to shove it if it didn't go how they wanted it to go. But they got pressured and they didn't know any better, and they fell victim to that scenario, which ultimately ended up in them losing their campaigns anyway. But the point being was, I looked at it and I was like, this is just not, you cannot have a big impact with the system the way that it is right now. I think the system is entirely
completely
broken.
redesigned.
It needs to be entirely redesigned.
I'm 19 Keys, and this is high-level conversation.
that was like, I'm gonna read regardless. The way they thought about education was crazy. Like, I will beat for this knowledge. And they didn't even have access to we got access. Now that human hunger and appreciation for knowledge decreases based on your ability to get it instantly. So we went from it being illegal, it being inaccessible, it being a journey. Back in the day, right, you got libraries. At first, black people couldn't even go to certain libraries. We didn't even have access to books. No, before that, if we got caught reading, we get killed. Right. So if we got the way